This Corbin Burnes update changes everything for the Toronto Blue Jays, and not in a very good way, which we'll break down on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vryonis, and today we're going to be breaking down the new Corbin Burnes update that came out. And look away, Toronto Blue Jay fans, because even though you have the highest offer, even though Corbin Burnes is definitely interested in joining your club, you may be fighting yet another uphill battle. But before we get into it, I want to let you know that a large percentage of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel. So go ahead and hit that sub button. It'd mean the world to me because we're super close to my goal of 2,000 subscribers. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into it. And this is what Corbin Burnes had to say. I'm going to have to do a lot of research this offseason of farm systems, young guys coming up, groups of core guys that are on a team. Burnes said, where does it look like teams are going to be competitive? Where are teams just looking to spend money to make the fan base happy? Whatever it might be. I think I can provide value in helping to elevate some young guys on the staff. Is it a group of young pitchers where maybe they missed the postseason this year, but they have the pieces to do it now and for the long term? But you never know what's going to happen each year in baseball, so you just want to provide yourself the best chance to win, hopefully for your entire tenure, hopefully for most of your tenure, whatever it is. That's important, knowing that you can provide more value to a team that's going to be in the postseason and maybe elevate some young guys. So on the surface, you may be wondering, what does this have to do with the Toronto Blue Jays? Well, currently they have the highest offer, or at least that's what's being reported, and I have to think that that's absolutely true, because why would Corbin Burnes not just sign with his hometown San Francisco Giants if they had the highest offer? So it seems like a two-team race right now. The Boston Red Sox are still rumored to be in, but their owner came out and said that he's very hesitant to give a long-term contract or a lot of money to a starting pitcher who is in their 30s. As evident by the Chris Sale situation, didn't really work out for him in Boston, couldn't stay on the field, then gets shipped off to Atlanta for pennies on the dollar, wins a Cy Young in his first year there. So you could see a little bit of the reservation from the Red Sox owner in terms of giving money to a guy who's in his 30s and a starting pitcher. It's not exactly the best scenario that you could go after. But if you needed any reminder on Chris Sale's stats, I mean, there they are. You could just see this guy's an absolute workhorse. We'll look at his past 4 seasons: 167 innings pitched, 202. 193.2, 194.1 last year with the Baltimore Orioles, where he finished in the top 4 for Cy Young voting. And this guy's a perennial Cy Young candidate. I'm waiting for him to actually win it, but he's fantastic. His stuff just absolutely jumps out at you. And the strikeouts were a little bit down last year, so I don't know if that's cause for concern, but still 181 Ks and 194 innings, that's pretty solid. I will take that out of my starters. But it's really the workload that stands out to you, right? It's the 33 starts, 32, 28 in 2021. And the guy is just a pro out there. He gives you a chance to win every 5th day, maybe gave up a few more hits than he's used to last season, but I wouldn't really tone that to anything. I think it's also because he was playing in a tougher division, but there's no doubt that his stuff is as electric as it comes in Major League Baseball. So Corbin Burnes going to probably get a 7-year deal. The Blue Jays right now are probably in that 250 to 275 range, and I don't think that's unrealistic by any stretch. So he's going to get paid. He's going to get paid big time. Now, is it going to be the Giants? Is it going to be the Blue Jays? That remains to be seen, but I can't see this dragging on for too much longer, just for the simple fact that the Boras clients were not happy with the way that last offseason went down. So you've seen a lot of them signed pretty early so far in the free agency sweepstakes. Corbin Burnes is the last big fish remaining in terms of Boras clients. And I don't know if he wants to drag this on. I think he just wants to get to work. And when you're saying things like this, you clearly just want to play ball, man. You want to play ball. You want to get the best offer. You want to get compensated for what you've done for the game, what you're going to do for the game as well. But when you're saying things like, I want to be part of the process for teams' development, I want to be part of, evaluating their farm system, that to me means that you want to get down to business right away. So I don't expect it to be too long before we see Corbin Burnes sign on with the team, but right now it's been announced as a 2-team race by all of the notable reporters, by Kent Rosenthal. We're still waiting. A little bit of radio silence going on with John Heyman and Jeff Passan, but it's headed in the right direction, I would say. But when he said this, and I'm a Blue Jay fan, so I'm going to look at it from that perspective, it's very concerning, and it definitely affects the Blue Jays because their two best players, their two offensive best players, are going to be hitting free agency next season unless an extension gets done, which, as the days go on here, it's looking less and less likely that something is going to be resolved before the season actually commences. So that's one. And two, the Blue Jays have one of the worst farm systems in Major League Baseball, and he's also talking about the young pitchers that may be coming up. The Blue Jays don't have too many of them, and the ones that they do have are injured and not really making any progress. So unless Trey Savage turns into a Cy Young candidate for the Toronto Blue Jays, there's just not much to write home about in terms of their outlook for the future for young arms. There's not much there. The Blue Jays need to address that area. Ricky Tiedemann, who was once their top prospect, once a top 30 prospect in Major League Baseball, has now kind of fallen off the map in a sense. He's out of the top 100. He's going to miss all of next season with recovering from Tommy John surgery, and he's a lefty that throws 100 miles an hour. He was supposed to be a huge piece of this Blue Jays organization, but it just hasn't come to fruition as of yet. So the outlook for the future in terms of arms for the Blue Jays, not great. And position players, the last ones that they've produced that have really done anything of substance have been Vladdy and Bo Bichette. And you could argue Alejandro Kirk as well. He's been a pretty serviceable player, but the last top prospects that they've had in terms of position players have been Vladdy and Bo. And if you lose those guys, then it's looking even more bleak. So let me know in the comment section down below, where do you think Corbin Burnes is going to sign this offseason? And do you think a decision is imminent? I really hope it does, because this thing has dragged on for far too long. And I was expecting him to sign a week ago, to be honest with you guys. So hasn't happened yet. I believe it is around the corner, but I'm not gonna put my foot in my mouth here and make any false proclamations. But let me know in the comments down below, where is Corbin Burnes signing, and when is this sucker gonna get wrapped up? See you all tomorrow.